I know at the end of every YouTube video, you're supposed to have a call to action, but I'm just gonna put it up front because it's a pretty simple video. If you live in Tennessee, you should join the Tennessee Firearm Association. And now I'll explain why. Last Saturday, I went to the TFA annual dinner, which is technically a lunch because we're in the South. And I've been going to this event for years, and I tried to shoot a video while I was there, but all I got were these random pieces of B-roll because I was having too many good conversations with folks. And that's the main reason that I think you should join this particular organization and go to their events. Now, you might assume that I'm recommending that you join TFA because they're such a great gun rights organization, and they are. That they're doing such a good job of fighting for rights of Tennesseans, and they are, both at the legislative level, lobbying for good laws to be instituted and bad laws to be overturned, but also lawsuits. They just had a fantastic lawsuit here in Tennessee against a really terrible piece of criminal code. Unfortunately, that case is still pending because the Attorney General and the Governor asked for an appeal. But the conversations with people, the community aspect is really, really key. In all respects, it's a fantastic event. It's a fundraising dinner. There's a live auction. You can bid on different things. They had great speakers. This year it was General Flynn. Last year it was Pete Hegseth. So they get really interesting folks. But the people who show up to listen and participate and be part of the conversations are another really important part. Now, there are several different components here. When I talk to people there, it's about a combination of different things. I talk to people about politics, I talk to people about guns, and I talk to people about local community. Those are three things that are really, really important. And those are things that I know are important to a lot of you guys. When I post about radio content, a lot of you mention that you don't have like-minded friends to talk to on the radio. Well, your local state firearm organization is a place where you can meet some of those like-minded people, and you're limiting yourself to a sort of a geographic area where those guys are your neighbors, or at least relatively close to you. So you should be showing up to do that. I've also talked about political stuff in the past, how you guys need to be involved in the folks that are running for local office, the people who are running for these representative government positions. And you've said, like, well, how do you actually get to know them? Well, at this event, everybody who's running for next governor was there, with one exception. We also have a special election coming up for Mark Green's seat as he is stepping down in Washington. Everybody running for that seat was there. This is an event that you can go to and ask pretty pointed firearm-related questions, because that's the nature of the event, with people who are actually in your community running for these offices. Get to know them and get to know whether or not they should have your support or not. But it's not just the political side. I also had a great conversation with Tim Hoffman of Hoffman Tactical. He had his booth set up there and was showing off his Orca and other 3D printed firearms. And we had a fantastic conversation about the super safety and some of the parts that he's working on, some other projects that we can't talk about here, and the video that he published right after the event, which I will talk about here. You should go and check out his video testing the Lima 6 belt-fed lower, because belt-fed ARs are all the rage these days on YouTube, and that is actually in large part because of Tim Hoffman and his super safety and the push that he has given open sourcing things that have really generated a lot of interest and implementation of forced reset triggers. So you will meet people who are heavily involved inside of the firearm industry at some of these events. Now, if you don't live in Tennessee, I'm not going to discourage you from joining TFA, because we could still use your money down here to fight bad firearm laws. But I do think that you should get involved in your local state organization. You may point out that not all state organizations are created equal, and not all of them are quite as good at TFA, either at the grassroots side, or the quality of the lunches, or the political action. But in some ways, that's even more of a reason for you to join. If you are really passionate about this issue, you should be a part of that state organization that you're in so that you can help move that organization in the right direction. You can actually let them know what things you are passionate about, which laws need to be fought against, what laws need to be passed, etc. So I think that it is really a fantastic place to get involved at any of these 3 levels. And so, yeah, that's right back where we started. That is the call to action. Get plugged into your state level organization. As great as Second Amendment Foundation is, as great as GOA is, the guys doing the local work need your support. They are your community, and it's a great way to get connected with folks who are doing things in the firearm industry or the firearm community right nearby. I can already hear some of you asking in the comment section, wait a minute, doesn't T-Rex Arms have a lobbyist? Don't we already do this legislative work that TFA is doing at the state level in Tennessee? Doesn't that make you competitors in some way? And the answer is no. We have the exact same goals in mind. More firearm freedom for Tennessee citizens. That makes us allies rather than competitors. But you are also right. In the political space, think tanks and various other groups that are on the same side and fighting for the same things often do find themselves competing for donors and fundraising capacity. And the good news is that for the most part, we don't really have that issue. There have been major efforts inside of Tennessee where Gun Owners of America and TFA are working on the same things because they're fundraising at different levels and different places. TFA has grassroots fundraising like this dinner, and then T-Rex Arms comes along and pays its lobbyists not with fundraising dollars, but profits from the products that you guys have bought. That means that there's even fewer opportunities for us to step on each other's toes than other larger organizations. There is a lot of potential strife inside of right-wing activists, and I'm pretty sure it's even worse on the left-wing side. Knowing some folks who work for those kind of think tanks, they have told me some pretty horrifying stories. But I'm actually glad that we have so many different groups trying different things over here. We're very passionate about firearm freedoms, and we have very specific goals that we want to accomplish and very specific ideas about how those should be accomplished. Enough so that we're willing to put a lot of time and energy and money into those things. But I'm not so convinced that that's the way to do it that I want everybody else to run the same plays that we are running. I actually prefer to see a number of different people trying a number of different strategies and a number of different tactics in a number of different places. That means lobbyists pushing bills that try different things to see what is actually going to be effective, and groups ready to file lawsuits, sometimes at the same time. So if you get involved in your local firearm organizations, you have the ability to run some different plays and collaborate with and complement other stuff that is happening. So much needs to happen at the legislative level, so much needs to happen at the legal and judicial level, and a lot of stuff needs to happen culturally at the community level. So this is an easy way for you to get involved.